Tonight, climate change takes the focus of discussions between leaders at the 43rd regular meeting of the Caribbean community in Suriname. We are there. Plus, it's hours before the 9th Bahamian will take the reins of the Royal Bahamas Police Force as the outgoing commissioner's watch comes to an end. And later, the inspirational story of triumph, how one man overcomes some trying circumstances. Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Kindino Knowles. Prime Minister Philip Davis expected back home tonight from the 43rd regular meeting of CARICOM. Climate change taking center stage at the first in-person discussion between CARICOM heads of government following the 2020 onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. Our Sasha Lightbourne attending the opening ceremonies Sunday and tells us that the climate issue is expected to dominate talks over the next few days.
As CARICOM heads meet this week in Suriname, climate change and its impact on island states is top priority. Mitigating that impact, the focus of regional leaders, including Barbados' Prime Minister Mia Mottley and our very own Prime Minister Philip Davis. Both leaders taking the region's plight to the world stage ahead of this meeting using various platforms. CARICOM Secretary General Dr. Carla Barnett says now more than ever, the world must pay attention and listen to the region before it's too late.
It is why we have been so forceful in our advocacy for greater access to climate financing to help us adapt to the phenomenon as well as to respond to the loss and damage caused by climatic events. There has been some headway, and we will continue the struggle along with our partners among the global, small island and low-lying coastal developing states, SIDS, because success in this fight is necessary to make a difference in the lives of our people.
Barnett's comments coming at the opening ceremonies of the 43rd regular meeting of CARICOM heads of government. United Nations' Secretary General Antonio Gutierrez, who was also in attendance, agreeing that global leaders must act now.
We need climate action that matches the scale and urgency of the crisis. That means urgent and transformative emissions reduction efforts to halt warming at 1.5 degrees Celsius, support for adaptation from climate impacts, and financial assistance to secure a climate-resilient future. We have no time to lose. I thank Caribbean leaders for helping to show the way. I'm inspired by your many efforts to safeguard your incredible biodiversity and natural gifts, including by the efforts of the indigenous communities.
As for Prime Minister Davis, who also addressed the opening ceremonies, his first address since being elected Prime Minister back in September 2021, his message was one of togetherness as a way to fight all regional issues.
Small ocean economies gain in negotiating strength and influence when we work effectively as one. It is no exaggeration to say that if we do not stand together, we, each one of us, is in danger of falling apart. With our vision restored and our courage firmly bound, we in this region can achieve great things. We can lift our people out of poverty. We can facilitate the generation of wealth and opportunity. And most of all, we can ensure our survival long into the future.
Reporting from Paramaribo, Suriname for our news, I'm Sasha Lightbourne.
And the Prime Minister is expected to assume CARICOM chairmanship in January 2023. We'll have more from our Sasha Lightbourne tomorrow on what that chairmanship will mean and plans to host CARICOM in February next year. Director of Communications in the Office of the Prime Minister, Latrey Ramming, defending against continued criticism by the opposition over the Prime Minister's travel schedule. The Free National Movement Chairman, Dr. Dwayne Sands, criticizing Prime Minister Philip Davis for traveling with a big contingent to the 43rd regular meeting of CARICOM heads of government in Suriname. Ramming, who was in Suriname with the Prime Minister, had this to say.
The former Minister and Chairman know and understand that the Prime Minister, as a new head of state, is required to attend meetings of heads. The Prime Minister went to CHOGM, Summit of Americas, and he's currently at CARICOM. Being a recently elected head, in his capacity as Prime Minister, his attendance is required. More importantly, I think the domestic issues the Bahamas currently face are influenced by international pressures, whether it be crime, whether it be rising inflation or whether it be the cost of gas.
Raming also saying forums such as CARICOM give the Prime Minister an opportunity to discuss issues that impact the country and provide solutions.
Being a new head means that the Prime Minister cannot deputize anyone in his stead to attend these meetings, so that's required. Unfortunately, I think for us, we've been in the pandemic for the last 3 years, and these meetings sort of coincide because they're coming out of the pandemic. I think, more importantly, what the Bahamian people would like to hear from the chairman of the FNM is the allegations of police interference with the Commissioner of Police.
Well, one man is sharing with us tonight his story of success after struggling with poverty as a child growing up in a Haitian village. Jared Higgs tells us more in a moment, but first, you may want to make sure and keep your umbrellas handy this week with showers in the forecast. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is standing by in the Weather Center with your first look. Good evening, Greg.
Thanks again, Dino. Welcome everybody for our first look at weather on this humid, kind of wet Monday evening. We had some showers earlier. Temperatures have settled down into the low 80s, 83 outside our studios right now in the partly cloudy skies. Your winds are out of the southeast, little breezy, 15 miles per hour, and your field slight temperature, a humid 87 degrees. Satellite view at a surface trough and tropical wave that's been affecting the southeast Bahamas. The major portion of it is now to the south of western Cuba, but we still have a piece of it hanging across the central and southeast Bahamas, triggering some showers, and that's interacting with an upper level low that's actually just west of Cuba as well, and that's going to continue to spark some showers across the area. We saw one of those showers here in the capital earlier. More showers in the forecast through tomorrow. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
All right, thanks a lot, Greg. And still to come on our news, 2 lives are lost in a tragic car crash early this morning. What traffic investigators have uncovered so far coming up. Plus, it's hours before Police Commissioner Paul Roll's watch comes to an end. More on his legacy as his retirement makes way for another Bahamian to take the top post. And later, a story of triumph, how one man rose out of the ashes of some trying circumstances. It's all coming up when our news returns.
They say that when it hits you. A feeling so strong that it's impossible not to give into. A juicy piece of KFC. To feel elevated by the aroma. And to free fall into its exciting flavor. Some call it love, attraction, desire. We call it KFC. Ignite your senses with KFC.
We are a leading Bahamian bank, one of the largest publicly traded companies on BISX. Our measure of strength is our growth and performance, with over $1.7 billion in assets. We remain committed to serving the interests of our shareholders, staff, clients, and communities. The confidence to lead, the performance to remain. We are Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Once I had a girl, she called me pain. Left me in the cold and pouring rain. So I decided to put her down. I took a trip to Cowboy Town.
Two men believed to be in their 20s are dead tonight following a traffic fatality early this morning. Authorities saying they were alerted to a wreck on Gladstone Road around 5 a.m. involving a black Honda Accord and Mack garbage truck. Police Press Liaison Officer Superintendent Audley Peters giving this update.
Our initial investigations indicate that the Mack truck was traveling south along Gladstone Road when the Honda vehicle, which was also traveling south along Gladstone Road, collided into the Mack truck from the rear, and the individuals succumbed to their injuries on scene.
As investigations are ongoing, police reminding the public about the importance of adhering to traffic laws.
We'd like to warn the motoring public to stay within the speed limit as they traverse the streets of New Providence, and also to abide by the rules of the road, exercise the necessary due care and attention so that they can arrive to their destination alive.
Well, in a matter of hours, the Royal Bahamas Police Force will have a new commander-in-chief as Commissioner Paul Roll gets ready to retire. Deputy Commissioner Clayton Fernando will become the next commissioner. Roll says of his time as commissioner that he hopes to leave behind a legacy of transformational leadership.
Will you have interference? Yes, you're going to have interference, but then you got to stay focused, stay course.
Paul Roll became the 8th Bahamian Police Commissioner in 2020 and says he's stayed the course. Roll embarking on a mission to strengthen the force in every aspect of policing through what he calls a transformational style of leadership. It's what he says he believes is helping to make a meaningful difference in fighting crime. A difference, he says, is necessary in a tide of crime that seemingly continues to rise.
We have an opportunity now to stop this carnage if we could reach these youngsters, and then we could talk to these adults and say, harden your neighborhood. Because these buggers, these crew that are already here, if you over here understand how you could prevent them from having the opportunity, because they are willing offenders.
Roll, who joined the force in 1983, later became the officer in charge of the Central Detective Unit and launched the first ever cybercrime unit. As commander of CDU, Roll brought over 2,400 successful cases before the Supreme Court. He has written and implemented restructuring policies while renovating and relocating essential infrastructure. But now that his time is winding down, Commissioner Roll is doubling down on his support for his successor, his deputy, Clayton Fernando, and defends his assessment of other senior officers.
I don't have no problem with Fernando.
Yes.
I don't have no issue with no officer in the Royal Bahamas Police Force. But I'll say one thing, that as commissioner, I have the right to assess an officer. And I will assess any officer below my rank. They may not like my assessment. They may not like the assessment, but that is my role.
And now Commissioner Roll gets ready to take up a new post, Bahamian ambassador to the International Maritime Organization in London. The Bahamas was elected to the Executive Council, the IMO's leadership organ, where there is currently no Bahamian representation. But with Roll about to take his seat, with 14 years of industry experience, serving as International Maritime Liaison Officer since 2008, the commissioner says he is ready.
You may not know, but when you were CIDUC, every other couple of weeks I was gone, because I was doing investigations all around the world. And wherever there was a Bahamian registered ship, it gives the police the authority to do. If I say to the ship not to move, they can't move. And so I got to know all the people in the industry. They know me. And we work very well together.
Our Commissioner Roll says he intends to take that same transformational leadership to his new role, as he believes it has helped to leave the force better than he met it, his retirement. Now making way for the 9th Bahamian Commissioner, who takes the reins tomorrow. In other news tonight, the Bahamas Institute of Business and Technology partnering with Sonic Foundry to launch the Global Learning Exchange Hub, better known as GLX. The hub will give all Bahamians access to international colleges and universities while learning in a hybrid setting. President of BIBT, Dr. Deswell Forbes, explains to our Megan Shepherd this new concept in higher education.
What a pleasure it is that you've come to help us launch this groundbreaking educational project, which we hope will go a long way to help aspiring Bahamians achieve their academic and professional goals.
Whether you're a first-time college student or already employed persons who may be looking to develop their skill sets, CEO of Sonic Foundry, Joe Mostyn, says students from throughout the country can take advantage.
We have partners in about 15 universities across the United States and the UK, and our goal is to be able to bring that education here, which can extend the opportunity for not only more university choices to have a better match for each student, but also more program choices. And the program choices, you can name it. Everything from hospitality to management to data management to nursing, etc. So there's a very, very wide range when you have 15 universities as part of the choice.
Mostyn says what makes GLX different from other online learning platforms is its physical hub.
if they wanted to take classes here, because they are online classes. However, we also, and so this facility has Wi-Fi, it has computers, it has some of the infrastructure needs, if you will. It also creates a sense, important piece of at least my education, I think most, sense of community engagement, and that's what we're looking to do here, and for group projects, but then also to avail of other services, such as, tutoring services, or even social. Part of going to college now is navigating the social landmines, and those are part of the services we're also offering here.
Senior Vice President of GLX, Dwayne Glatter, adding that education is key to reaching one's full potential.
For education to be as powerful as it can be for reaching your potential, it needs to be accessible, it needs to be affordable, it needs to be sustainable, not just a one-shot or one-hit wonder. It needs to be able to hang in there over a period of time. And most importantly, it also needs to be employable.
All right, that report from our Megan Shepherd. When our news comes back from the break, the disrepair that has forced the Dundas Center for Performing Arts to close its doors. Find out how you can help. Coming up.
Plus, coming up in sports for you tonight, the defending WNBA MVP Jonquel Jones in action. We'll tell you how she did. We'll also give you details from the Northern Bahamas Bodybuilding Championships. And, of course, Team Bahamas set to be in action tonight against the Dominican Republic. That's coming up in sports.
And later, we'll introduce you to a man who overcame poverty and a life in a Haitian village. We have the details when our news returns.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
When I had got prostate cancer, my family didn't know if I was going to live. At Cancer Treatment Centers of America, within days, I got an appointment. They presented me with treatment options, and we set up a robotic prostatectomy. When my scans came back, there are no signs of cancer. They don't see you as a number, they see you as a part of the family. I'm going on with my life. That's a real gift.
Call us at Cancer Treatment Centers of America.
From the field to the fresh market, you will find fresh, delicious, mouth-watering produce and meat. Discover organic, specialty, and healthy grocery products for everyday cooking. Your adventure awaits. Experience the fresh escape. Sign up today for My Solomon Smart Rewards at Solomon's Fresh Market.
Wouldn't it be satisfying to own your own piece of paradise? The most important investment you can make in your life is real estate, and Fidelity has the solution for you. You could become the owner of a home or a lot on any of our beautiful islands. Come and talk to a loan officer and inquire about how you can fund your goals with a loan today. Because we know it means a lot to own a lot. Visit us online at fidelitygroup.com. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, or visit any of our branches, or phone 356-7764 in Nassau, or 352-6676 for Freeport.
This is our news. Welcome back. The Dundas Center for the Performing Arts needs your help tonight. Administrators are appealing to the public for support that will help reopen doors to the theater that has long brought us some of the greatest Bahamian storytellers. Marlena Leonard has more on their plight.
The Bahamian theater community has had a rough few years. First, the Regency Theater in Grand Bahama was almost destroyed by Hurricane Dorian. Now, the Dundas Center for the Performing Arts is saying they suffered serious repercussions from being shuttered in the pandemic. The Dundas Board is urgently appealing to the public and the government for help raising $150,000 to replace the seized air conditioning units in the 82-year-old building.
The Dundas was closed entirely for 18 months between March 2020 and August 2021.
When we sought to reopen in 2021, we discovered that the 40-year-old air conditioning system in the Winston V. Saunders Theatre, where we are sitting, sweating, had seized up, and it is beyond repair and must be replaced.
The Winston V. Saunders Theatre has been closed since March 2020. Chairperson of the Dundas Board, Nicolette Bethel, says the forced closure during the pandemic effectively cost the theatre an estimated $200,000 in lost revenue. And without revenue, the Dundas will not survive. Despite these hardships, the Dundas Board is still doing everything they can to keep the arts alive by celebrating 50 years of independence and 50 years of producing Bahamian theatre through their series called A Year of Bahamian Theatre.
To remind Bahamians of our proud theatre legacy, every month from October 2022 to October 2023, we will produce a different play by a different Bahamian author. We will start this whether or not the Winston V. Saunders is functional, as Shakespeare in Paradise produces plays all over the city of Nassau. But we hope to end this cycle of 13 plays right here in the newly reopened Winston V. Saunders Theatre.
For more information on the Dundas or Shakespeare in Paradise, how to donate, volunteer, or audition, you can visit their website, dundascenter.org, or the Shakespeare in Paradise Facebook page. Reporting for our news, I'm Marlena Leonard.
All right, thanks a lot, Marlena. A big overtime win for the Connecticut Sun. Bodybuilding results from Grand Bahama and our men's basketball team to face Dominican Republic tonight. Marcellus Hall is up now with sports.
All right, thanks a lot, and welcome to our sports, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. Well, Jonquel Jones is the defending WNBA MVP. Last night, she and her Connecticut Sun back in action, trying to take on one of their arch rivals, the Washington Mystics. Let's see exactly how they did. Jonquel Jones and her Connecticut Sun back in action yesterday, going up against the Washington Mystics. Teams second and third in the Eastern Conference. Connecticut trying to hold on to that second spot, and they would have to come from behind in this one. They come from 17 down, beat the Mystics in overtime, 74-72. Ends up being the final score. How about our girl Jonquel Jones? She played 26 minutes in the game, finished up with 11 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, and a couple of blocks. Most importantly, like we said, the Sun do get the win, and they'll ride that momentum into their next matchup, which comes your way tomorrow on Tuesday when they take on the Dallas Wings. We do have some other information coming in, this time from the world of bodybuilding, as the Northern Bahamas Bodybuilding Fitness and Federation, they had their championships this weekend in Grand Bahama. Taking a look at your standings in the various categories. Overall, on the men's bodybuilding side was Oric Nesbitt, and he did a pretty good job. Women's figure overall winner was Sanadia Smith, and the women's fit model, Sanadia Smith taking first place. Their men's fit model was Alexander Camp, and Kara Saunders winning the women's wellness division. Women's bikini won by Castasia Stewart. Men's classic physique won by Oric Nesbitt, with the men's physique category won by Terrion Kemp. So the Northern Bahamas Championships are all wrapped up, getting now ready, set for the upcoming Bodybuilding and Fitness Nationals, which will take place here in the province. That'll be coming up on July 16th. And of course, tonight, the Bahama Arena will come to life as the Bahamas takes on Dominican Republic in the World Cup qualifiers. That game should be underway even as we speak. We'll give you details and highlights from that tomorrow, but wishing the Bahamas the best of luck. Our men's squad winning against the U.S. Virgin Islands over the weekend, looking to continue that success moving forward with a game tonight. We'll again give you details on that for you tomorrow. And there it is, a check on your sports for this evening. Don't forget to check out tonight's game. We'll give you details on that as the Bahamas takes on Dominican Republic. That's coming up for you tomorrow. Until then, I'm Marcellus Hall. Back to you, Candino.
All right, thanks a lot, Marcellus. Don't go away. Greg is back in the Weather Center with your extended weather forecast and what you need to know about showers and thunderstorms this week. And later, meet the man who found success after overcoming poverty in some trying circumstances when our news returns.
Hi, my name is Sasha Stewart, Sales Team Manager at CBS Bahamas. We are the nation's leading experts when it comes to supplying and installing windows and doors. No matter what type, style, or size you may require, we can supply you with a solution that will suit your expectations. With CBS Bahamas, there's never a need to compromise. We make it easy and stress-free to turn your dreams into reality. At CBS Bahamas, we are here to help you build beautiful.
Ice a coconut got this, cocoa skin dripping madness, juiciness ice the baddest. Sweet like sugar in a dripping like ice honey. I take all the man love me, my lips sugar cane rock me. Sweet like sugar in a cocoa water it don't stop, magic flow from that juice. Serve it. Sweet like sugar in a
New Click Platinum flavors. Flavored beers with a kick of rum. Make it platinum.
Welcome back to our news. A tropical wave affecting the islands with showers and thunderstorms expected into Wednesday. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is back in the Weather Center with a look at the tropics in your extended weather forecast. Greg?
Thanks again, Kendino, and welcome back everybody for our second look at weather. We have a tropical wave that's west of the area, an upper level trough that's also across western Cuba, still triggering some showers, some of that energy with that tropical wave hanging out across the central and southeast Bahamas. We will continue to watch the system as it pulls towards the west. Showers and isolated thunderstorms in the forecast tonight through tomorrow, and it looks as though it'll move into the northwest Bahamas by Wednesday time frame. So partially wet couple of days, but once that system gets out here, high pressure at the surface will dominate our weather. Right now, it is actually producing some breezy conditions across the central and southeast Bahamas, and some of those winds will be spreading in the northwest Bahamas later on in the week. Speaking of boating, the northwest Bahamas, winds will be southeasterly at 10 to 15 knots tonight through tomorrow. Your sea is running 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. Low tide was at 6:12 tonight. For the southeast and central Bahamas, a caution flag for you guys down there. East to south easterly wind flow at 15 to 20 knots. Your wave height's running 4 to 6 feet over open waters. Here's a look now at your national forecast. A look now at your 7-day forecast. More showers in the forecast tomorrow. Thunderstorms possible. Some of those showers will be locally heavy as well as some strong thunderstorms. But once that system gets out of this area, some isolated showers expected throughout the remainder of the week. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe evening, everybody.
All right, thanks a lot, Greg. Well, a man is sharing his story of success after struggling with poverty as a child, growing up in a Haitian village. Jared Higgs tells us his inspiring story.
From repeating the 4th grade due to struggles learning a new language,
I made up in my mind that I never, ever was going to accept failure.
To graduating with his 2nd bachelor's degree.
Whatever you put your mind to, you can do.
35-year-old Frankie Camille, a corporal in the Royal Bahamas Police Force, grew up in a Haitian village off Joe Farrington Road. His early life wasn't easy as he struggled with poverty. His Haitian mother couldn't read or write. His school bag was a plastic bag, and he wore the same clothes every day. Repeating the 4th grade was devastating.
I could not balance the 2 languages, and so I only could have spoken Creole. And so when I went in the school system, I did not know a word of English.
But Camille was determined to be successful. Despite his mother's shortcomings, she ensured that he attended school every day and pushed him to do his best. He eventually rose to head boy and valedictorian of Doris Johnson's class of 2005, fulfilling a promise he made to himself.
I am going to become someone, and I said, before I leave school, I am going to graduate the top of my class.
Camille's first degree is in banking and finance with a minor in French, and his second degree is in music education. He says while he did experience some xenophobia due to his Haitian background, it was Bahamian teachers who helped make a way for him to attend college, where he says he learned to think critically and people skills. He urges other young people of Haitian descent to keep a focused mindset.
Do not allow the negativity to overcome you. Do not be overcome by the negativity, because there are Bahamian people out there who are willing and who will invest in you when they see potential.
I spoke to Camille just outside the Haitian village where he grew up. He says in the past, the village was larger with more structures. Today, the area is less bustling, and the structures are a bit more sophisticated. One familiar feature, though, is the children playing.
You could be the doctor. In fact, you will be a doctor. Okay? Despite where you come from. Don't look at where you come from. Okay? You have to have a mindset. And once you make up your mind, this is what you want to be, no one and nothing can stop you.
Camille, who is now married and has a daughter, wants those children and others who grew up in shantytowns to know that upward mobility is possible. He's turning his attention to his master's degree, and he aspires to own a music school for underprivileged children, especially children of Haitian descent. He wants children who grew up in similar situations to know that they can achieve anything they set their mind to.
Don't allow your environment to determine who you are. Don't allow your last name to determine who you are. Don't allow where you come from to determine who you are. And don't be ashamed of where you come from, because all of that is a part of God's plan for you.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
All right, thanks a lot, Jared. What an inspiring story. And from all of us here, we wish you nothing but continued success. And before we close, we want to wish our American brothers and sisters a happy 4th of July as celebrations continue tonight. We'll have highlights later this week. With that, we thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Kendino Knowles. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Until then, have a wonderful evening.